Hello, my name is Limur Sunil and welcome to my video series where I'm making a side-scroller action RPG game. Last time we made some changes to the level graphics and we introduced a draw layer functionality where you can decide which entities are going to be drawn in specific layers. And we also implemented camera movement with the player, and we implemented the level boundary for the camera so that the camera don't show beyond the level boundaries. And we also added invisible walls to the level itself as well. I mean, the level is basically just a test level, but it's there to increase sort of the kind of atmosphere that I want for the game and to get some inspiration for what's to come in the future. Alright, so in between the videos here, I've done a whole bunch of small improvements. If you don't want to listen to this, you can just skip ahead, but I'll just go through them really quickly here. So I improved the attack animation of the player. I can show you here. So now the player has a little bit of swing going on, so it feels a little nicer to attack. The hitbox of the player attack has changed as well. So when you actually hit the monster, you can hit it from further away. I made some player hurt graphics that I'm going to implement in this episode. I made an animation container to deal with the problem we're having with all the more animations that we're getting. It was growing a lot, and so now we have a container which is basically automates a lot of stuff that we need to do manually before. So this basically keeps our animations in a container so it's easier to get them. I also put them in a singleton so that you can get the animations from anywhere. Okay, and then we have, I modified the animation for the monster a bit. So as you can see here, when I approach the monster and it attacks, it has a bit longer telegraph. So you go up to it and it shows a little bit longer than it's supposed to be attacking you. So you have time to react and move away. However, if you go forward, you will now get spiked by this thing because, well, I haven't implemented. I'm gonna implement the hurt animation for the player this video, but you can see that the monster attack is way longer now, so it's a bit more menacing, and that will actually have an impact on the game. So that's it for that. And then I added just a helper function for calculating the total animation duration, which I talked about last time, to the animation instance, so you don't have to manually put in the duration of the animation. And the animation changes for the monster is now handled by the AI system. Before it was handled by the scene, so that's better now. And we also have the animation durations are based on the calculated total duration, so you don't need to manually set it as well. So that so you don't have to update it manually. Okay, so that will save a bit of time. And then we have fix bug, where if you set an animation to a new one, it wouldn't immediately update the texture. That was a bug where, after the monster attacked, it was stuck in the last frame of the animation, even if it was set to the idle animation state. So I fixed that, and now the monster is looking good when it's attacking. Okay, so what will we do in this video? Well, I want to focus on the combat or the gameplay, I guess. Well, the combat part of the gameplay, I guess. And so I will just call this Combat Foundation. I won't be able to do everything here, but let's just say, I guess, part 1. Okay, now I want to focus on implementing the player part of this. So I want to have player health and hurt and death, so that you can actually take damage and you can lose health and you can die. Okay, and then we have some weapon stuff here where, as you're walking around now, the weapon isn't really shown, and my idea for the game is probably that you would have different weapons. Maybe, I'm not really sure actually, but maybe you actually just have one weapon. I'm not actually sure, but it would be nice any way to have some sort of system where you could like swap out the weapon graphics easily, so you don't have to draw like one set of sprites for each weapon that you have. Like that would be a lot of different sprites. So instead, what I'm thinking is having a separate sprite sheet for each weapon, and then if you have like some sort of weapon that is like should change how the player's holding it, then you want a different set of sprites for that as well. But as I'm thinking right now, just one weapon for now, and I might separate it and draw it on top of the player so that, yeah, you can see the weapon while the player is standing still or walking as well. And then I want to also, in this combat foundation kind of umbrella here, I want to improve the combat so it feels better. So I want to experiment with different like abilities that I've been making up between videos. And yeah, I want to experiment with the changing, like how fast you're going, like how the jump works and everything like that, to make it like, yeah, just experiment around with different kinds of things. And it might take a while to actually find something that I'm happy with, and I might also tweak in the future. But and yeah, and the monsters as well. I mean, it's really basic right now, but I would like to have some sort of also baseline where you set the complexity to a certain level, so you don't get swamped with. If you want to have a lot of different monsters, then if you make the first monster like really, like, I guess interactable or really like complex, then you would have to keep the same level of complexity along for all the other monsters. So I don't really want to maybe like get into that trap where you spend a lot of time doing that. I do want a really fun game, but you know, I don't have all the time in the world to actually make it. I really love making this game, and it's like a childhood dream for me to actually make something that I'm passionate about. But you have to be realistic. You have to set the ambition bar to something that you actually can reach, and that's what that's what I've learned through all my years of programming and failed projects, and yeah, lack of motivation as well. But I mean, making this a YouTube series really helps with the motivation for this project. So I really love doing this, and I hope you enjoy joining me in this journey. So I'm gonna start with this. So, and then we'll see how far we'll get. So let's actually start this now. So yeah, we already have a health component. So it's this one here. So we have a health. So we could just add this to the player. So here we have our player initialization function. So let's just add a health. Excuse me. Let's just add a health component here. So this takes max health. So I don't know, 3 maybe. Also, it would be nice if we could actually see the amount of health that we have. So we might do actually, yeah, I want to add that as well. So I want to draw player health as well. And that I'm going to create some graphics for that. Like, I guess we can start with like a Zelda-esque with hearts for now. But we'll see how the health UI will look. But yeah, I'll just add some basics so we can actually see it. Okay, and yeah, so that's the health component. Now, yeah, the player actually has the health. Actually, you know what? To be able to see this, yeah, I'm just gonna draw up a basic heart here, and I'll come back. Okay, that took way longer than I thought, but here's the heart. It took a real long time to actually get something that, like, yeah, looks all right. I guess I should, yeah, it didn't take that long, maybe like 5 minutes or something. But yeah, so here's the heart, so you can have like whole heart, half heart, and empty heart. So I'll start with that, and yeah, now I have to implement a way to draw this. And the way I'm thinking to set this up is I might just add an entity that handles this. like a health UI component, we could have that as well. So you add an entity with a health UI component, and that will in turn be handled by the health UI system. So let's actually do that. So I think, yeah, just health UI. And we'll have health UI components. And this basically, I think this doesn't really need to have anything in it. I mean, it might need the actual entity of the player maybe. So let's just do that. So let's have the player, and this is an entity. And we need to import ECS. And let's make it init function. And we'll pass in the player as well. All right. And let's make the health UI system. We'll need an update function. So let's take in the registry. All right. I don't need time or anything, I don't think. All right, so we'll grab the player. Yeah, okay, so first off, we want to grab the health component, health UI. And I'm not sure if this like actually a good way of doing this. Oh yeah, sorry, we need to get like a view of this. Actually, you know what? I want to also grab, yeah, you have the health UI, and then you want to have, I guess, not really a rigid body, because there's not really a separate function for like getting like a position. So I guess we'll just hard code in the position to be drawn, maybe. Or we could just add a rigid body, I guess, which is static and not solid. Yeah. So let's just get the rigid body as well. Even though it's probably, yeah, it's not really gonna be a rigid body, but yeah, whatever. Rigid body. Let's just use it for now. There's only gonna be like one of these, but yeah, I guess we need to create an iterator anyway. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is basically we add an entity with the health UI component and a rigid body to set the position of where on the screen it will be drawn. And we also have the player entity stored in here, so we can grab the end player and we can grab the health component from the player, so it's kind of linked like that. We'll just grab the player from, actually, this would be health UI. This is actually the view, and then we get the health UI from the view, so we'll get the health UI component with this entity. Okay, and now the player, well, it's gonna be the player. Okay. And then we want to get the health. So this would be registry get health component, which we need to import here from the player. And we need a health component from health. Oops. There. Okay, so now we have the health. So we know now the actual health of the player. And I guess what we could do, we could, if we want to have like half hearts, we could set the player health to be like 6 and then have half hearts. Let's just start with whole hearts for now. So what we'll do is we'll loop through from 0 to health dot max health, because we want to draw. So I'm thinking we'll loop through all the hearts. If the player if the current health is less than, we want to capture this, I guess I. If it's less than I, we want, or if it's less than or equal, no wait, no. If it's more than or equal to I, we want to draw a full heart, yeah. So here we draw a full heart, otherwise an empty heart, like this. Okay, so let's grab, we also need like, so we need like the position. The position is going to be, well, we do have the body. So let's grab health UI body, which is the rigid body. All right. And then the offset is going to be health UI body. Come on. What's happening? Health UI body. What's happening with the LSP? Okay. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Why, yeah. Okay, whatever. So we've got the offset, so that's the center point of the body. So I'm thinking, yeah, that's where we want to draw this or start this off. And then the position is going to be for this specific heart is going to be offset, and then plus we want to do like the width of the body. So let's do that. So in the other thing, I think we just want to set the width to be like the texture width something. Actually, you know what? This whole thing is like a draw thing. Because the draw system doesn't really have support for this. Well, what we could do is, I mean, if we really want to hack it into the current draw system, we could create an entity for each of the hearts and then set the texture to be like, and then have a body for each thing and set the, but I think I would rather have this just be a draw function, yeah. And then, you know, yeah, we just calculate this and draw it. So actually, you know what? Let's not actually have a rigid body here. Let's just define, let's just hard code this offset. And let's just say we need the vector stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's just import CG. And then we'll do that. And this would be okay. So we need V, and we do offset. It's just going to be, I'm just going to say like 5, 5. All right. So we get at the top a little bit offset. And then the size of the heart, I guess we can hard code that as well for now. I set it to 8.8. And then we also want to scale this by the scale, and we can grab the scale from here. So let's just have a scale there. All right, so we're passing that from the scene, and then we will do, we don't have the body, so we'll just do the size. Wait, position is going to be, oh yeah, so we only want the X part. So we'll do size times unit X. And we also want, well, actually, we could do scalar I 0. Wait, no, init I 0. So, yeah, the first one's going to be 0, so it's going to be at the offset. The next one is going to be 1x here. So that means that the size will be scaled by this. So the y component will be 0, and the x will be whatever I is. So the position will be hopefully correct here. So we got the position. Now let's draw. So I guess we could do like this is just the texture. So we'll have the texture be this. So this, you can do it like this. This is kind of like a ternary. How do we get the texture now? So we don't actually have a texture container like we have for animations. So I'll add that later, but for now, I'll just pass in these textures here. So we'll have the full heart texture, which will be a texture like this, I believe. So let's grab Raylib here. So, and then we need the empty heart texture there. I will refactor this later, but I just want to make this work. Okay, so the texture will be full heart texture here. Otherwise, it will be the empty. Okay, so now we got which texture we wanna draw and the position. Hopefully, if everything works. But then also now we need to draw this. So let's just grab the draw system here. And this would be registry singletons get the draw system. Actually, we could just say CGE draw system here. All right. And then we can call draw texture. And we actually need the source and origin, right? Because yeah, we have like a sprite sheet. Well, okay. Yeah, my bad. We actually have a sprite sheet, so let's send in the heart sprite sheet, I guess, instead. And then we do heart sprite sheet. Is this a... Oh yeah, so this would be a pointer post. Okay, and now we need the source rectangle, and the source rectangle is going to be depending on. So this would actually not be texture. This is actually the source rectangle, and if it's a full heart, then it means we have the first of the frame. So this would just be like from center, and the center is, I guess, 0. Oops. And the size will be the size. And we will, yeah. Okay, so that's that. And otherwise, we want to have the second from second. Yeah, so this would be 16.0. With the size. Okay, I believe this will work. Hopefully it will. Maybe it won't, but it might be that. No, yeah, we'll see. Okay, so this is source. The origin will be 0, I guess. Position is going to be the position. We already have that. Yes, position, same vectors, and not really vectors this time. Okay, so rotation, we don't have rotation, and the scale, we can put in scale there, and we don't want to flip. Okay. All right, so now we're actually doing that in here. Now we need to call this function and hope that it works. So yeah, let's draw the UI down here. Let's say health UI system, draw registry, and we have the scale. And we don't have the sprite sheet yet, but I'll add that as well. Art sprite sheet. All right, so let's add the sprite sheet. And yeah, we'll add it here. So art sprite sheet. Oh, I actually spelled it like this. Okay, so that's the whole sprite sheet. Now let's also do this and this. And then we don't do anything else. Well, we do it here as well. Our spreadsheet, heart. What did I call it now? Health. Oh, health. All right. And yeah, and yeah, should be an address. All right, so let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's just scrap this whole component thing. I realized that we can just, the only thing that we're using it for is now to get the player. So I think what we want to do is we just want to pass in the player here. So let's just pass in the entity, the player there. And then we don't need a view. Yeah, we don't need rigid body. We do need a draw system. We don't need to loop through entities here. And this is we don't need to do that. We don't need to do this. All right, so now we've cut this down a little bit. Where is this issue? Okay, let's save and see. Oh yeah, so now we need to pass in the player there. Okay. All right, so here we got a usize and we need an F32. So let's do from int instead. There. All right, so oh yeah, this is shape. Should probably add a hub to physics so we can get it directly instead. Okay, cool. So now, well, actually, it should actually draw this now. So let's test it. Whoa, okay, we are getting something, and it's also translated with the camera. So we don't really want to do that. What you could do is just subtract or add the camera position, which would put it in the correct spot. We also don't want to multiply the size by the scale. Maybe the size actually, yeah, but actually, no. So let's do this. Okay. All right, so it looks good, except that this needs to be scaled by the scale here. Yeah. Oh, let's do scalar scale. Wait. No. No. Yes, that should work since we have a 0 there. I was mathing for a bit there. Okay, so that looks better, but it doesn't really look great. But at least it looks like the size is correct. Let's fix the offset to be. Let's do plus the camera. So let's get the camera, and we'll do singletons. And we'll get the camera. This should be cge.camera.camera. Like that. And I will add camera position. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Okay, let's do negative. Oh, I also realized that we need to offset based on the screen coordinates as well. Okay, nice. So it's not affected by the camera. It's like sticking to the screen. So that's cool. Now we also want to get the screen. So let's get the screen. This is over here. And we want to do plus the screen size half. Well, actually minus. There we go. And there we go. Now we got some hearts up in the left corner. I want to move it down a little bit. So let's do 15. Okay, so it doesn't seem to move. Wait, it should be moving. Okay, yeah, it was moving, except it was like so I guess we'll do size and I guess times 3. Wait, scalar. Okay, yeah, that looks better. Okay, so it seems like the source rectangle is a bit off. And let's see if we can make something out of this. So maybe, yeah, let's just try and adjust this a little bit. So we should maybe not have 0. Let's do maybe like half size. Half size can be size times scalar. That's fine. And let's use that as a well, let's use that as an origin and see what that does actually. I'm not really sure how that works. I think that just determines the position of the drawing, yeah. It's not that, so we want to do this over here. So let's do like half size. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah, all right, so that looks good. And let's also do this over here. So this would be half size. Actually, you know what? Since we only have like 2 different sources, we can just say full source, which is from center, half size, size true. And we have the empty source. So this one we do times or plus. Well, actually, wait. So this would be plus 2 times the size, but only the x part, so only x. Wait. We'll do only x, and we'll do 2 times the x part of size, the width. There. And here we'll do full source and empty source. All right, so we pre-compute that. Okay. All right, so we've got our health on the screen now. And it might not be like a perfect position. I'm not sure actually where to put it, but it's a start. And yeah, so now we want to make the monster actually able to hurt the player. So I already have a hurt animation. And so actually this is actually done now. And what I want to do is well, okay, we added the player health component, but we want when the monster attacks the player and is close enough to the player. So basically what we're doing with in the player, I think, not sure exactly where we put this. I think if we search for pending damage, let's actually do it. Yeah, we're actually doing it in the monster thing here. Well, we're setting pending damage. Oh yeah, maybe we call the hurt function. Hurt or damage or something. Yeah, here. So here we are calling hurt, and this is in the update function of the player AI. So we basically want to do this, but for the monster against the player. And so what we do is we do this thing. And we also need like the hitbox as well. So we basically want to do all of this, but for the monster as well. So it's basically, this is where we actually do the attack. So we want to hurt the player at the point of attack. Actually, not at the point of attack. I just realized we want to do it at the point where the monster actually does the final kind of thrust thing. So we'll have to have another timing here. Actually, yeah, we want to actually add hurtsAt, I guess. Timing. Okay. And this timing is, yeah, we need to set this manually. Unless we can sort of get some more information metadata out of this animation. But I'm not gonna bother with that. But that actually sounds like a cool project to add some sort of metadata that you can say that, hey, in this frame we actually want to hurt the player. So or this is like a damaging frame. But actually we want to set this just manually now. So let's just set hurtsAt to be this, and we want to, let's see if we can just calculate this. So I'll put this at 0.25 and we'll see if that works. Okay, and then we actually want to go into attack here, and we want to see else if t is more than or equal to hurtsAt. If that is true, we want to do all this shenanigans. Let's put this in its own function actually. So let's do hurt, like damage player if in hitbox, attack hitbox. Okay, so let's make this as a function here. Damage player. Okay, we'll put this in here, and we will also, we need some things. So let's pass in the registry. We need the player entity. Okay, so we don't have the horizontal direction. Let's grab that as well. Direction. And what else? Yeah, we don't have a function that calculates the hitbox, so let's do that. So let's do monster attack hitbox, right? Returns an AABB. And this should have the body. And it should have the direction, which is the horizontal direction, right? Okay, so this would be monster attack hitbox rect. And oh, this is not the player, this is actually the monster entity. I guess we'll call it monster to make it easier down the line. I'll see we're using entity. Okay, so this is body, this is direction. All right. We need to get the physics system. So let's grab that physics system and allocator. All right. We need, wait. Yeah, this is actually player components. We already have that. So maybe player. And player state. Yeah, I guess we could have a hurt state for the player. I guess we need that. Okay, and then we get the health as well. And we can hurt the player like that. Okay, cool. So, right. It seems to be working great. So we need to define this function. And the way we're doing it for the player, we can basically grab this. And we have a size. Let's grab these as well, which is part of this calculation here. So what we do is we grab the size, which is this function here. And the size that this is basically just a body. So let's actually do body. Oh, we need a vector as well. Vector. I'm sure why I have this in a different way. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, this, yeah, we need V as well. Okay. All right, so basically, I don't think I want to scale this by 2. Monster width should be fine. And we'll call this also monster attack. And this is the monster. All right, we'll call this body, call this direction. All right. So this should all be good, except the distance is gonna be 1 width. Okay. We might like fine tune it later, but let's see. So we need AABB as well. So shape AABB. All right, player body. It's body, body, direction, body. Okay. All right. There we go. So we have some sort of hitbox. We can actually draw this hitbox as well. So I have in between videos, I added this debug thing to actually draw the attack hitbox of the player. So we could do the same for the monster as well. And let's just copy this and we'll do draw monster. So we can actually see it and fine tune it if we need. And we need a view. So this would be a basic view. Let's just do a basic view of monster AI. No, not system components. Okay, and then we will look through the data, I believe, because then we get the entity. And then we basically do this. Well, we want to do, so let's grab the monster AI component. This would be scene, but you should get a monster AI component from this entity. All right, and then we check the state. If it's attack, and we grab body, we grab the direction. Now, the monster might not have a horizontal direction. I'm not sure actually. And this should be the entity. Oops. Okay. And then this is the monster AI system dot monster hitbox. Oh. Hitbox. Wait, is it not public? Oh yeah, this needs to be public. So monster hitbox right there. And I will draw it with this. Okay, cool. Let's make this red, I guess. All right. So now we can call this, and let's call it here, draw monster attack. And we need to also enable this true. Okay. Now we can see the hitbox when the monster attacks. And yeah, I guess we can look at it here. Okay, no field name hurtsAt. Oh, wait. That's the wrong thing here. Where are we setting the attack? Here. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right. And yeah, so now we get some more errors here. So let's add this. And this is the entity. Any more errors? Okay. Oh yeah, player state. We don't have hurt state. Oh yeah, so we need to add that. So let's just do that real quick. So we'll have hurt. And let's do player state hurt. And we copy this. Hurt. And that. Okay. And then we have a bunch of errors here because we're not checking for the hurt. So this is the player AI. And we want to do this. And this is hurt. And that set state to idle. Okay. So now we can exit the hurt animation as well. Okay. And here, oh yeah, so we can actually, let's do this as well. So we need to set the animation to hurt. And now we actually need to add this animation as well. And the way we do this, you can see now we should get a compiler error because there's no animation named hurt. So we basically just add this now to the list here. And it should work since we do have a hurt animation defined in the JSON file. Okay, no more errors. So let's run this and hope for the best. I don't feel confident, but let's see. Okay, no crashes. And you can see here the player that's the player hitbox animation. And let's see the monster. Well, we got a crash, all right. So the issue is that the monster doesn't have a horizontal direction component added to it. So that's easy to fix. Let's just add that. Horizontal, oops. Horizontal direction, which takes direction. So I guess it's right. Oh yeah, wait, this was the issue we had before. I think the monster should be turned around now. Yeah, since okay. All right, so we actually do get, okay. So we have a couple of issues here. The issue is that since the monster graphics is actually from, well, it actually defaults to the monster turning or is turned to the right. However, my system assumes that everything is turned to the left by default. So when it realized, so then when you say right here, it actually flips the graphics to be the other way. So it actually flips it the wrong way right now. So what I need to do, I think I basically just want to flip the graphics. So I'm gonna fix that and be right back. Okay, let's see how this looks. All right, so now it's okay. So I think I need to modify the origin as well. All right, let's see. Oops. Okay. Okay, so here you can see the animation works now. However, as soon as I go into this square, it crashes. But also, the square actually shows up long before it should. Well, I guess the state is attack, but we also want to check and also state.attack.hurtsAt is less than or equal to t. So let's grab that. Well, actually, we have the t in scene, so let's do scene.t. All right. Okay, so now it should only show when you can actually get hurt from it. So, all right, so it's a little bit too quick. So let's just modify this. Okay, the 0.52. Let's try that. Okay, so I basically went to the frames and calculated when it should be. And yeah, now it looks like it appears when the actual thing. And we can see, oh, we actually, if you saw the health there, it went down. However, something is crashing, so I'll just check the error logs. Okay, interesting. I'll just check. Well, so we are checking if the player is hurt. Oh, are we never changing the state, maybe? So we do get the pending damage, and it is handled in the health system. However, we're not really doing anything with the health pending damage in the player system. So let's grab the logic that we have in a monster for that, which we should have somewhere here. Pending damage, yeah, here. So let's grab this. Actually, let's grab the death as well. We basically, yeah, we want to grab these components. If we are dying, we don't want to do anything. So let's do death. And we get the death component from the player. And we need to import the death component. So death. Okay. And we also have the health. So let's do health. Wait. Yeah, I mean we are always gonna have a health component, so let's grab that as well. This would be get health component. All right, and this is health. Okay, and this would be player. Oh yeah, so we don't have this thing. I think what we do is we just say no to that. And then we say here, we say, yeah, player hurt duration. We'll just hard code this for now. And this would be player component, set state. Do we have that? Wait. Yeah, we don't have player hurt duration, so let's just add this player hurt duration. Let's do, I guess, 0.5 for now. We'll see. Okay, so I also want to add maybe some knockback. I'm not sure actually. We'll see. Yeah, knockback is really annoying. I know from a gameplay standpoint, so I won't add it, but it makes sense for the animation point. But we'll just do this. Okay. The player basically becomes stunned, is what's happening now, because we set it to another state, and we are doing it for half a second. Okay. We might just no, we're not gonna change the velocity or anything like that. We just set it to hurt, and the player will get hurt, and that's that. Okay. So what's the issue now? We have health there. So this is the monster health. Yeah. And okay. Right. So now we actually handle the if the player is dead. We also handle, well, we abort this whole player AI component or system. We also check for the health of the player. And we check if we have any pending damage, then we set the state to hurt. And then, yeah, and then we do the normal stuff over here. Okay, so now we should have progressed a little bit at least. Okay, still crashes. Let me check here. I'm not sure actually what's going on. It seems that the player, either the player entity is like removed or something. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. So because I think this is the issue, we go to our update function. So here we're checking for pending damage. However, since the pending damage is set here, it's actually checked here and then cleared. So we have like a crisscross dependency issue here, where the player system wants to set pending damage to the monster, but the monster also wants to set pending damage to the player, but then the health system happens. So it's like the thing that we're doing in here, the thing that when we are actually looking at the pending damage, we actually want to do this after the attack stuff has happened. Yeah, so we have like these different parts that we want to have the different stages. So we want this thing to happen there. And we want to have a separate function. So update, I guess, pending damage or check pending damage or something like this. Yeah, let's just do this just to make it as easy as possible to implement here. So we need the registry and we need the player. Okay. And the player component. Well, we can just get the player component here. So let's just get that. And this would be registry get player component from the player. Okay, and yeah, we need T as well. Okay, so now we actually have this here. And I guess we don't really want to do this if we are already dead. So we need to check that as well. So let's just make a check if dead. And we'll do bool. And we need the registry. Let's also grab the player. Okay. So then we do this. Oops. Return death is not equal to null. Okay. Or I guess we can just do this. And we'll just do if check if dead. Then we continue. So let's do the same thing over here. Check if we are dead. And if we are dead, then we can just return. Okay, so now we have separated it into a separate check here. So we'll do this after the monster AI system. So this is now the player system dot check pending damage. Okay. So it's a bit spaghetti here, I guess. But yeah, things, well, we broke this out into its own function, which is good. And oh yeah, this needs to be streamed up there. Okay. Okay, let's see if this actually works. Okay, so the player animation is way too fast for the hurt, so let's add like 1 second instead. So it seems like it actually works now. However, I'm getting, oh, okay, so I'm getting like stunlocked. So once I move from this position, I get like an infinite glitch. Okay. Also, it doesn't look like the hearts work properly as either. So yeah. So I want to do a couple of different things. I want to go to the initial scene, and I want to add to the player like a death settings, so we don't really crash immediately here. So let's just add death settings component. And you want a death duration, so let's just add like, I don't know, 3 seconds to have that. And the death animation, I guess we'll just put it to, let's actually have it be kind of weird, yeah. Just to see that we actually get, so death, yeah, let's get let's do the monster death animation for the player. And we'll see how that looks, because that just makes it so we don't instantly yeah, and you can see that, wait, why aren't we dying here? Why isn't it setting the animation to death? So yeah, there's a couple of different issues here. The health thing doesn't really seem to work. It seems weirdly out of time. The timing seems really weird. And if I start to move here, okay, okay, now it crashes. So it's like at the end of, oh, so I was already dead. Yeah, so this is the part of the issue. So in the handle update or handle input function here, we actually override the state, I think. Yeah, we're setting the state to walk when we really can't do that. So I guess here we have a bool that says if we can walk or not. And this one just checks if the state is not attack. So I think I instead wanna do a whitelist maybe, or yeah, let's do this. So it should not be attack, and it should also not be hurt. Okay. So now if we try to like walk when we are hurt, we shouldn't actually be able to do that. So okay, great. And now we are actually kind of like stun locked here. And yeah, so it seems to work. However, the health bar doesn't really seem to work. So let's check this. I think it's like 1 off. I think that's the issue. So we go through 0 to 1. If the health is I, so this should actually be more than I. Well, let's see. So if we have 2 hearts, that means that this is 2, and the I is currently 2. So this needs to be like this. My brain is too tired to think of this, but let's see. So yeah, now it seems to work correctly. However, it seems to like, yeah, maybe it's because the hurt duration is too large. Let's actually disable the attack space thing, because it's messing with my head. It's making me think that once the square is red, that means that we've taken 1 damage, but that's not the actual truth. So let's go to our player animation, like the player hurt animation. Let's actually just set this equal to, I mean, let's set it back to 1. The issue also is that once the player's out of the hurt animation, we're basically stun locked if the monster keeps on attacking. So I think what we also want is we want, like, for the monster, we want an end hurts ends at. So hurts end at, where this one is actually set to end the red square. So this would be hurts at plus, well, add plus 0.4. So that should end the hurt and, or the, like, the where we actually hurt stuff. So we have to check, and this is less than or equal to hurt end, or less than attack hurt ends at. Yeah. So if that's true, then we, yeah. So now we shouldn't get stun locked, because the hurt thing only happens in one window. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now this actually feels like a real, okay, yeah. And then we die, except we don't play the death animation for some reason. But yeah, I don't actually have like a death animation for the player. So, but yeah, I think we actually did this now, except I mean, the death is kind of wonky. It's like crashes the game, but at least it's actually implemented. I don't really have time right now to do more than this, so we will actually be happy with this for now, and I will look very much forward to continuing with the combat foundation. And we've made this work, so let's cross that up. Okay, and I would like to, I'm not gonna do this, I'm gonna down prioritize this because it's not that important, like the weapon visibility when you're walking. So what I want to do is I want to improve the combat, and I want to add like abilities to the player so that you can play around with different stuff. Actually, one thing that I want to do is I want to add gamepad support. So I'm basically gonna switch from key, because I'm using keyboard right now, and I basically want to switch to a gamepad so that it feels a lot better to actually play the game. And yeah, so that's what I'm probably gonna focus on next time, adding gamepad support and improving combat a little bit. So yeah, but that's gonna be it for this time. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions about SIG programming in general, or game development, or this game, feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.